Okay, so once you have downloaded the apps, the two apps, so this is how you set them up. You open the first app, code editor. So this is how it will look on startup. So let me show you the different things you can do. So this is the menu. To get a file, to pick a file, you go to your internal storage. You go to this is your internal storage. You pick the place you go to the place where you want the files to be taken from. Like for example, if I say VS Code, you can see I have some files here. If I say web dev projects, JS, you can see I can pick this one, JavaScript. So you can just pick a folder where your files will stay. So for this, I'll create a folder called web dev. So I've created a folder called web dev already. Then I'll enter the web dev. Then you can create a folder called projects, but I like to leave it. You can keep your own like that, but I would like to create a folder called project, and I've created it already. Okay, now I'll create a folder called JavaScript, and you might be asking, how do I create a folder? How do I create a folder? So here's how you create a folder. You click on this plus icon on the bottom right of the screen. Click on it. You see create file, and you also see create folder. Click on create folder. Then put in the name of your folder. So I'll call it JavaScript. And click on OK. So you should see your folder if you have nothing here, but I have a lot of things here, so I have to look for JavaScript explicitly. So here it is. JavaScript. So I click on JavaScript folder. So there's nothing inside my JavaScript folder yet, so I want to create a file. So all JavaScript files, we will be learning about the JavaScript programming language. So all JavaScript files, just like your videos, and okay, your videos, let's say your movies now, movie dot mp4. Movies have this mp4 format. Then you have the music mp3, and many others. For example, your photo, okay, let's say a photo dot jpg, things like this. So this is how it essentially is with all files. They have their extensions, except some files, but that is advanced. So same thing with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all programming languages you write, all the files have their file extensions. For example, HTML is .html, CSS is .css, Python is .py, C is .c, .h, depends. There's there's also SCSS, various ones, but JavaScript will be dealing with .js. So this is what JavaScript will be. So you can name your file anything, but I love to call it index. So I can call it first js file.js. But you see this thing we just did here, putting space in our file name. As a programmer, it is very disencouraged. Not disencouraged, what am I saying? It's very discouraged that you should use spaces in your file names, because it will affect you one way or the other, but we'll not get to there yet. But just know that you shouldn't use spaces in your file names, but you want to separate the words, right? So you can use something like a hyphen. Okay, you can use an underscore or a hyphen, so things like that. Then so I'll call this first js file.js. Always make sure to put that .js. So I'll click on OK to create the file, and you can see the file is created. The size and the dates, you can also rename or delete the file from here. Then click on this. Okay, you can see I made a mistake with my file name, so I'll click on internal storage, go to my web dev project, JavaScript, first.js file.js. So I want to rename that, so I'll click on that and rename to first.js file.js. I can see it has been renamed, but I don't like this. His name is too long, so I'm going to delete it. So click on that, click on delete, and click OK. So I'm going to just keep it simple. I'll call it 01, or rather I'll call it CUT. Rather, let's make it more semantic. DFC JS 01.js. So meaning, okay, so look at what they said. Feast_file.js dot feast_js_file.js has been modified. Do you want to reload it? If I click on no, it will just leave the file there like that. But if I click on yes, it will tell me that the file does not exist anymore because I have deleted it, which is correct. And I renamed it and edited it. So this is what we have now, dfc_js01.js. So I want to go ahead and explain the various features of this app called Code Editor. So there's the bookmarks. So how does a bookmark work? A bookmark is just simply going inside here, going inside your your internal storage, choose the folder you want. Maybe if a bookmark is simply something you like or is a favorite folder, or maybe something you use more often. So since we're going to be using JavaScript more often, the JavaScript folder more often, I'll click on enter the JavaScript. Then you see this bookmark option here. I'll click on it, bookmark. So I'll name it JavaScript. Yeah, that's the name of the bookmark. Then I'll say okay. So now if we go back and we enter bookmarks, we'll see JavaScript file. The JavaScript folder has been bookmarked already. So the other features of this, there's the storage manager. You wouldn't need to go in depth on this yet for now, but just know that the storage manager handles all your storage. This is the first storage, the main storage on your mobile phone, internal storage. You can add other storages, maybe the storage on your website, that's your website file storage, maybe your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your GitHub, your WebDAV, so your GitLab. There are many others you can add, but we'll just leave it here. One we'll definitely deal with later on is this GitHub option here, because this is where you send your project to for people to see and develop on. Maybe add some features to it or remove some things from it. Okay, so that is how it is. So now I want to explain now the features of this Code Editor app. So you can see this panel over here. Okay, so that is that panel over there. So firstly, to swipe from the left, we'll bring out this option, this menu here, the same thing as tapping here. Then to swipe from the right, we'll bring out this menu here. So with this, you can easily move from different folders without having to leave this editing side. So projects, where is JavaScript? Where did they hide JavaScript? df? So the file is already open. So you can click on this place. This is the first thing I want to talk about now. You click on file. So this new option creates a new file. It's not like it creates a new file explicitly. It just opens a new tab. So these are tabs. So this is a tab of this dfc_js01.js file. So this is a tab for this file. So this here is another tab, but this file does not exist yet. We are just writing in it. So we are just writing in it. We'll have to save it for it to be available on our mobile phone or mobile device. So this is it. So let's say something. Let's say hi. Okay, let's actually write some JavaScript. Let's say console.log. We'll put in our string hello world. This is basically the message you will send a lot trying to test something for the first time, or you understand, maybe you don't have anything to say, you can just put this in. So we'll say console.log. So now, how do I save a file? I'll click on this same folder, then click on save. If I click on save, it will show me where do I want to save it. So I know I want to save it in my web dev projects. I want to save it in the JavaScript folder. So JavaScript, then I'll click on, I'll call it what will I call it? I'll call it dfcjs02.js instead now. So you can see there are various file extensions. But we'll be dealing with just JS. So you see it's JS. We'll be using JSON later on. JSX is for advanced JavaScript. So dfcjs02.js. So I click on save. If I click on save, we can go and check it, but instead of us to go through that long stress, let's try our newly found feature, which is this. And we'll go to web dev, projects, then JavaScript. Okay, so you can see dfcjs02.js is added. So now this is how it is. So now let's close dfcjs01.js. So now let's go to the next feature, which is open. So if I click on open, it will take me to where I want to open when I want to open the file. It will take me to this place first and ask me where do I want to open the file from. So I can click on internal storage, I can click on my storage manager, I can click on any of my bookmarks. So I can click on internal storage to go to the folder on my phone. I can click on storage to maybe go to the folder on my GitHub account, or maybe on my Google Drive account or something like that. I can also use my bookmarks if I don't want to go through the stress of tapping. I can just go through the bookmarks. So I can use the bookmark automatically, but I don't need to use the bookmark. Why? Because in code editor, the last folder you visited to open something, is the last folder you will remain when you want to open another thing next time. So if I open from, okay, let me think of something to open from. Let me open this. Don't be scared about this code, you soon understand what it means. So if I set it to be like this, if I want to open a file again, if I click on open, it will still leave me in that same folder. You can see to leave me in that same folder. So now I go back to JavaScript, open my dfcjs01.js, then I close this for now. So what is the next option there? So there's OpenSAF. So this OpenSAF is more advanced, so I will not talk about it for now. So now I want to do the save as next. So this save as, I'll click on save as. So it allows you to save that whatever you have written there, allows you to save it as another file, or allows you to rename something, you understand? So I can click on rename to rename this file now. Maybe I want to save dfcjs02 as dfcjs01. So there's already a dfcjs01 here, so I have to rename it in order for me to change that dfcjs02 to dfcjs01. Don't mind my dfcjs. Anyways, we'll just keep on calling them 01 and 02 for now. So I'll change this to maybe 03, so that I can now save this as, click on save as, change it to 01, then we'll leave it as js, then click on save. If I click on DC, dfcjs01 has been modified. If I click on yes, you can see okay. I click on open, it opens. If I click on okay, I think there's a bug. Wait, I'm coming. I think there's a bug from the code editor app itself. Anyways, this can be removed. So you can see dfc01, 03, 02 are all opened. So that is function of save as, but I doubt you'll be able to use it more often. So for that bug there, we could have used reload instead of opening another file again. We could have used reload, and everything will be set. So I can click on close to close this code editor app. Not to close the code editor app. So sorry, forgive me. To close that certain tab, I can click on this as well. Okay, now what is the next there? So if I click on this pencil icon here, there are various options. So let's do a little editing. So before we go to that, let me just at least go through here first. So if I want to copy something, how do I do that? I can click on this. And take, okay, so forgive me for this. Let me deactivate my dark mode. Okay, so so this, if I want to copy, I can just hold on it and there you see various options here. The first option is to select everything, to select all. So if I only copy this one, if I click on this, it selects all for me. So I can choose to cut it. Okay, you can see it has appeared here, it has removed and it has appeared here. I can paste it. Okay, not even pasting, rather I can just do this. Okay, let me see. I can choose to paste here. Okay, I can choose to copy just the console.log, if I can do that right. Yeah, I'll just copy whatever I have there. Yeah, I can choose to remove it. I can choose to share my selection as well, as you can see from there. Anyways, I can choose to remove it, then paste. See. Okay, so that is that for that. Then what we were talking about earlier, the pencil icon. So the pencil icon is this. So I can choose to undo what I just did, and I can also choose to redo it. Okay, let me copy this. So for the next option, I can choose to paste. Next one, I can choose to select all. The next one, I can choose to insert color. So you can choose like a color picker. Maybe you want to set a color for some, but you will hardly use this because it's mostly used in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which mostly used with HTML, CSS. So see, like I inserted that color, but it's mostly used with HTML and CSS and programming language that has to do with colors. Okay, then I can choose to go to a line. Maybe I'm in line 1 and I want to go to line 2. I can choose to enter the line number, and you can see I'm in line 2. So let's move to the next one. This is the last feature, this last part of that top menu there. So I can click on search and choose to search something. Maybe, okay, yes, search. Then hello. So I can choose case sensitive, meaning that it only check for words that have that specific word, that has this specific word here, with the same capital letter, the same casing, like capital letter, small letter, all those stuff. So it look for words that is exactly capital letter, small letter H, small letter E, small letter L, small letter L, small letter O. So if I click on search, it tell me no match of that found. You can see, but you can see that there's obviously an hello here. Heck, even two hellos. So because of this case sensitive, that is why. So I can cancel that, then click on search, and it shows that two results. You can see two results found. Then there's also the search and replace. So I can click on search, then replace with something. Maybe I can replace it with what's up world. So I can choose to replace it. So if I click on replace, to show me the first, it will show me the first search, the current search result. So the first one in the result, you can see I can go forward and backward in the results. Then this one is to replace it with whatever I want to replace with. So it says I replaced it. So I can undo what I just did. You can see. So don't be shocked about this. We'll come here soon. Okay, so that is what this search here is for. So let's just replace all. If I click on replace all, that little stuff that was at this top will not show anymore. It's just replace every search entry found. Okay, so that is that. So the next is share. Like I said before, you can share this code to somewhere else. Then this is syntax. So what does syntax mean? Syntax is simply for syntax highlighting. So to highlight how the programming language you're using should be like syntax highlighting is very important, so you understand what you are doing and what you should not be doing. It helps you know your code. It helps you understand your code better. So the syntax highlighting is already set on JavaScript by default because this is a JavaScript file. So if I choose to set it as PHP you can see that nothing is happening at all. no color, no syntax highlighting is happening at all, because in PHP we have to add something at the starting for it to show that is a PHP code. No need for you to understand this since we are not doing PHP, but you can see something like this. But PHP does not use this console.log, so this is the best time to use search console. So I want to replace every console.log, not console space log. I want to replace all with echo. You can use echo, you can use print. Hold on, search and replace with echo, then replace all, and you can see what is happening there. So then there's visual styles. So visual style is how this color, the syntax highlighting, everything should look like. So if I click on visual styles, you can change a visual style. So I advise you use not Monokai, I think is Dracula. Yes, Dracula or Twilight. No, not Twilight. Dracula or Tomorrow Night. Yeah, just pick the one you like. I don't think the one I used to like is I think it's Monokai. Nah, it's not Monokai. Anyways, pick the one you like. Oh, that's too bright. Pastel on dark. Yeah, I think this is pastel on dark. I use pastel on dark more often. Solarized dark is very, very bright. Not dark. So just pick the one you want. So I was using Dracula before. So let's leave it as this, because Dracula gives me something I like. Anyway, so let's go to the next option, format. So if I say something like this, format simply arrange your code. I say something like this, I click on format, it will arrange the code for me. This is basically to add tabs. I click on format, it will arrange the code for me. So that's what format basically does. Then there's execute. We'll come to execute later on. This is read only. Read only means that you cannot edit the file. You can only copy anything you want to copy from it. You cannot edit the file. You can only copy and see what the file is about. If I cancel read only, you can now edit. You see. Then word wrap. Let me explain word wrap. So there's something I want to do. Sorry if you don't understand this, but let's see if it will work. Lorem 20. Don't be shocked by the things I'm doing. Okay, yes, it will work. So what I want to do now is generate dummy text. So I'll do lorem 20, then tab. Okay, so you can see that. You see that it did not go straight. It did not go straight down and continue going. When it reached the end of the screen, it went to the next line. That is what word wrap is doing there. So if I cancel word wrap, you see that it continues, and I have to scroll. Many times this with word wrap is very advised, but if you want that full view, something like that, especially maybe when you're using tablets, you can deactivate word wrap, but word wrap should be on for you as a developer anyways. Then mini toolbar, look at this down place. Then if I click on mini toolbar, you can see it disappears. So that is what that mini toolbar is there for. Now execute now means running your code. This is the part we're going to go to now, running your code. So remember we were doing a JavaScript course and I moved to PHP. Well, sorry about that. So let me just show you. So this is PHP now. I can choose to run this code as PHP or as JavaScript. So you can just pick what you want to run it as. So I want to run it as PHP. Then you can choose the compiler. That is what method do you want to use and run it. What compiler do you want to use and run it. So I click on execute. So basically it uses online data to do this for PHP. For some, there are some other programming languages that do not work. Okay, so you see, I think it has to do with my internet connection, and it has cancelled. So let's go back to our beloved JavaScript. So I'll click on search. I'll cut this ECHO. I want to change all echoes to console.log, then replace all. Then now we can run JavaScript. So how do you run JavaScript with code editor? It's the same thing. You click on this, change it to JS, JavaScript. So now you can run it as Node.js. Node.js is a type of JavaScript that does not work on the browser. It does not work on the browser, it works on the server. But we'll understand that later. So now we want browser JavaScript, since it's browser JavaScript you're writing, because Node.js JavaScript will have to use that internet connection. So we want browser JavaScript. So you click on execute, and it takes you to the browser, like the in-app browser of this code editor, and it shows you this unexpected token. So there's an error on JavaScript code, and I know it's because of this first line. That is not, we are not writing PHP now, we are writing JavaScript instead. So I click on that, then I want to save. Then we'll come to this mini toolbar. There's a lot of shortcuts here that you don't need to tap all this to access. So our syntax is gone. Why? Because we are using the syntax of PHP. Let's move over back to the syntax of JavaScript. Yeah, we're all good. So we'll click on execute one more time. Make sure it's in browser, make sure it's in JavaScript. Click on execute, and you see it runs. So look at what is being shown here. WhatsApp world 2 times. You can see how many times it's being shown there. Then lorem ipsum blah, 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 dummy text. So everything I said has been put. So this first option, this first thing here I did is to send message to what we call the console, and this is the console, the browser area. That is the console there. So this is the console of the browser, all this stuff. So you can see a lot of info here. If you are running HTML, you see the elements tab. This one is the console, network, resources, info. If you are working with HTML and CSS, you see the elements tab. You can click on element and see different HTML elements. You can see resources. You can see info about your device. Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about. So now let's come to this tab here. So firstly, let's talk about each and every item. So the first item in this tab, in this, what I call it, mini toolbar rather, this is the tab. So if I click on tab, it gives me a tab like 4 spaces. You can set that in the setting. We'll go to the settings soon enough. This video is getting extremely long, but don't worry, it's all for the good and betterment of your understanding. So if I click on this option here, this option is for pasting. So it pastes the recently copied thing in my clipboard. You can see. Then this is for undo. That undo we saw here, this is it here. I click undo, redo, undo, redo, undo, redo. So this is to move the cursor, but don't worry, I'll introduce a keyboard that is mainly for that. So this is yes. So that is it. So the next one is for saving. So you can choose to save your file. You can also set auto save to save after a certain amount of seconds have passed. We'll set that in setting. And this is for executing the file. So what this does, this also does. So then what this does, this also does. It closes the current tab you're working on. So if I click on close, it's open an untitled tab, meaning I have to write a code there to save this one. So that is not what I want. I want to open my dfcjs01.js. So now let's go back to this awesome tab we have here. So you can click on remove ads if you have the money to remove the ads. You can click on recent files to see the recent files you have opened or added. So these are the recent files I've opened and added. So this is recently opened as well. I can click on clear history to clear that. Then this is settings. So if I click on settings, now this is the settings of the app. So language, you can set that to automatic. You can set that to English by default. Well, let's leave that English. So the settings will be applied after a start. So file association. So what file association is, how do I put it now? File association is more advanced for this, but I'll just explain it. So for example, file association means you want to attach, you want to how you want this code editor now to, how will I put it? You want this code editor to attach a certain highlighting to a file, a type of file. So if I see JS now, the default one is that it will apply JavaScript highlighting to all JS files. But now I don't want it to be like that. I want it to have PHP highlighting instead. If I click on OK, see what to do. See .js. So all .js files will have PHP as highlighting. So look at this now. If I click on close, it's because I've set it explicitly there. That's why it's not applying. So I think if I click on this, so you can see this file has PHP. It has PHP highlighting, and we'll check that now with this PHP. And you see it has applied the highlighting. Okay, rather PHP. Yes, you see that it applied the highlighting. So that is not what we want. We want the right highlighting to be applied to the right file. Click on save. Settings, file association. We want to remove that by clicking here. Then the next one, word wrap. Yeah, you can see it's on. Then filter type filter, hide non-text files while opening. So any file that is not a text file, you can hide it with this. If you don't, you'll be able to see videos. Okay, let me do something. Let me show you. You're able to see videos that are not text files. So if I click on open and I go to okay, storage emulated 0. If I go to movies, okay, let's see, I have anime. If I go to this anime here, there are videos in this folder, but we cannot see them. Why? Because of that setting there. So if I turn off that setting and I go back there to see, okay, movie, there's actually a movie here as well. So Rally Road Racer, you can see the movie, but it was not here at first. So let me go back to this one. You can see, so that's what that setting does. So I want to leave that on because I don't want to mistakenly open a video file and edit it, unless my video will not work anymore. So search suggestion, I want that to be show suggestion, I want that to be on. So while I'm typing it, to show me some things, maybe something I want to type. For example, I want syntax highlighting for JavaScript now. Syntax I want for JS. So yes, if I say console, you can see that it's giving me this more like all the suggestions. If I click on CL and click on this tab here, see, that is a shortcut. You learn about shortcuts with JavaScript, with VS Code there, but you can Emmet snippet rather. But you can learn about these shortcuts in YouTube videos. You can check for YouTube video about shortcuts. Emmet is called Emmet snippet shortcut. So if I click on off, let me see. Oh, if I click on off, if I click on off, it will still show me some. It will still show me some of these suggestions, but when it's on, it's different from when it's on. I'll show you something now. When it's on, let's see if it will work. When it's on, it will give me snippets. When it's on, it will give me snippets. Okay, so this is a snippet most people use. This require, I click on require, show me this. It will bring out this piece of code here. Then if I set that to off, I don't think that snippet will come on any longer. Okay, it still comes on. Anyways, I don't understand the way it works there, but just know that you should leave it on rather, to avoid some things. So indentation character, the code editor uses 4 spaces for indentation character, but I would like to use tab. Then auto indent, yes, I want to auto indent. So when you are in a, don't worry, we'll get to a place where you understand auto indent. When you are in a function and you're writing a function, so you don't want something to be on the same line as a function, you want to shift it a little forward, you see that's what auto indent is for. Then appearance, I want to show line numbers. If I don't show line numbers, see, nothing will be by this side, but I want to show the line numbers. Then I click on show line numbers. I want to show invincible characters. Yes, let's leave it at that. So it shows. If I click on show print margin, notice the difference. If I set it to 80, notice the difference here. Difference in the width of this space. So I don't want that there. Then okay, then dark theme, yes, I want dark theme. I can also change it to black theme, so you can see this black theme here. Then I want it to be dark. Okay, so font size, I can increase the font size or reduce it, but I'd rather keep it at 12. You can make it 14. Then okay, so as it's 14, you can see it has grown a little bigger. If I change it to 23, you can see it has grown a lot bigger. So I want to keep it at 14. Then auto save. Finally, if I click on auto save interval, wait, whether you should wait for 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to save. So I want it to be 30 seconds. So I guess we're going to dedicate 30 seconds to this part of the video. So I've not edited anything. Let me leave it there and talk about other things. You will see that below here to tell me that this file has been saved successfully. Sorry about that. Okay, I think that is all for this code editor app. In the next video we'll talk about the Kiwi browser app. Then in the other video we'll talk about the Hackers keyboard app. Okay, so I think I'll wait a little for the file to auto save. Forgive this pause, I just had to wait so that you see. I don't want to edit the files, we'll have to wait another 30 seconds. But normally while I'm editing, it usually saves automatically. Okay, let's see. Well, we should just save it manually. Anyways, just know that it works. When you use it, it works. So thanks for watching this video. We'll meet again in the next one.